Hey, welcome back everyone. Happy Monday to you all. Bitcoin was down today. Miners were down for the most part, except for a couple as well. So it wasn't a great day, but it wasn't a bad day either. We'll take a look at what happened with Bitcoin and Bitcoin miners as well. There wasn't any news from the miners either, so we don't have anything to really talk about them. We do have some news now from Trump that he's going to basically, on his first day in office, he's going to sign some executive orders for tariffs. We'll take a look at what that actually might mean for the miners as far as what the impact is on the tariffs. And then we'll also take a look at some adoption as well. We have some good news here still happening with Bitcoin. So quite a few things to get through, but it shouldn't be too bad. We'll get through it quickly. But as always, you guys know the drill. Not financial advice for him only. Do your own research. Full disclosure down below. If you enjoy this type of content, hit the like button, subscribe. Helps me out tremendously. But first, we're going to take a look at here Bitcoin, what's going on with it, and the miners themselves today. So Bitcoin was down. It had quite a red candle today. It was down 5.13%. It closed at 93,001 cents. So we definitely dropped today, which I think was good. Right, we had a huge rally here in Bitcoin over the last couple of days, couple of weeks, ever since the election. So we needed a little bit of healthy pullback, and we're finally getting it. We got up to 99,860 as our high here recently in the last couple of days, and now we're down to 93,000. We're actually trading at 94,629 right now, roughly. So it's not that bad, right? There's definitely a sell wall here right around 100,000, and a lot of people are selling at these levels, which we were kind of expecting this to happen. And we need a little bit of a reprieve as well, reprieve with Bitcoin, just to take a breather. It needs to, when you sprint for a couple of days so high, so fast, you need to take a break. And this is exactly what we're having here right now in the last couple of days. We're taking a little bit of a break. And the reason I say that is because we still have a lot of adoption news happening out here. We'll cover that in a second here as well. And this is just a healthy part of the process. You can't go up forever with Bitcoin or anything in general. You need little breaks. You need to pull back a little bit, get people back in line, and start buying up again. So I think that it will happen here. So can we reach 100,000 before the end of the month? It's a little bit more questionable now, I think, than we had back on Friday when we were at close to 100,000 at that point, only $140 off. But we'll see. Nonetheless, I think December we will definitely, if we don't get it 100,000 in November, we will get it in December, and then some in December as well. So I'm not too worried about that right now. As far as the miners here, they were down for the most part, except for BitDeer was up just a little bit, 6.85%. Mara was up much higher in the beginning of the day, but it closed down a little bit here. You can see it was at 28.89 for the high on Mara, and then it came back down, had a pretty wild swing here today, but it closed at, was it 26.42? So it was up still 1.5%. BitDeer did the best here out of them all. MicroStrategy was also down 4.37% today on the day. So that one has continued to come down a little bit as well, and I think we might come down a little bit more on it. We'll see on that one. The miners, like I said, we're down just a little bit here, so a lot of them did actually better than Bitcoin. Bitcoin being down 5%. We had Bitfarms only being down 2.8. Cypher was down close to Bitcoin, 4.8. Cleanspark was down almost a 1% here. CORZ down barely here, 0.6 on that one. Hive was down 3.9. HUT 2.6. IREN down 3.4. Riot down 2. And Wolf was down 6%. And then the smaller miners did just as bad as Bitcoin did in general. And then we had the ETFs being down as well. So it wasn't too bad of a day. At least we didn't get like a double-digit drops in these guys here. So that's good. They're holding up their own, I guess. Now, looking at the network hash rate really quick as well. This is on the 7-day average. It has come down a little bit here. This is as of, we're about a day late on this behind. So it's from yesterday, we were at 752 exahash on it. And then looking at the 30-day average really quick as well. That's come down a little bit as well. That's at 736 exahash right now. Okay. And then let's take a look at how Bitcoin's faring right now in November. It is still up 34.71%. Really good month for us in November. Prior cycles where we were kind of looking the same in 2015, 2016, we were up 19% and 5%. So we're definitely doing much better than we did in those cycles. It is looking more like maybe the 2020 cycle here, possibly at that point. Or even maybe 2017 was the peak here, so I wouldn't call that. I would say maybe the 2020 cycle, where we had Bitcoin being up 42% in November, and then in December we were up 46% on that one. But I still think it might be a similar cycle to this one here in 2015, 2016 as well, going into 2017, right? But that's it. Okay, so a couple of news stories on adoption continuing here. We had news today come out that Rumble just announced a Bitcoin treasury strategy. They're also going to be stacking Bitcoin, about $20 million worth of it. And I think Rumble and the CEO of Rumble and the CEO of MicroStrategy, Michael Saylor, I think Michael Saylor gave him the blueprints on how to do this going forward. So we got them. We got Marathon buying Bitcoin. We got other companies. We got Semler, right? I think is another one, medical there, that's buying Bitcoin as well. So there's just a lot more institutions, or not even institutions, but companies, institutions, states. Talking about states here, we got some tweets from Dennis Porter here. He's part of the Satoshi Action Fund, and he's saying right now a tidal wave of pro-Bitcoin bills are coming in 2025. Those are going to be from the states. Demand is through the roof for Satoshi Action Fund model policy. So that's very interesting there. And then also the number of mainstream media journalists asking me about strategic Bitcoin reserves has massively jumped in the last 48 hours. I'm all of a sudden getting nonstop media inquiries. What's changed? What do they know? Well, we know that basically that there's a lot of demand for it, a lot of adoption happening here. So that's always a great thing here. Okay. So definitely love seeing that going forward, and we'll see a lot more of it happening also as time goes by. So I'm not too worried about that. And then finally here, let's talk about our main topic here at hand, which is Trump vowing to add additional tariffs on China, Canada, and Mexico. So China's going to get added another 10% on top of what's already in place for them. Canada and Mexico are 25%. And the reasons for Canada and Mexico being higher is because I think Trump posted on his Truth Social platform that fentanyl is a big issue, right? Drugs being smuggled across the border, and then you also have a large inflow of migrants going across, illegals going across the border as well. And basically, he's doing this to kind of get both countries in line to prevent illegals crossing the border here. That and drugs as well. So we'll see how that plans out. But here's what he says. So President-elect Trump plans to raise tariffs by an additional 10% on Chinese goods coming into the United States, according to a post Monday on his social media platform, Truth Social. And then the post immediately followed with one in which Trump said his first of many executive orders on January 20th would impose tariffs of 25% on all products from Mexico and Canada. All right, so what does that mean for the miners here going forward? Well, the miners, for the most part, I think pre-bought a lot of their stuff, at least to get to the targets they're getting to right now. For a lot of these guys, they have things on order, things are coming in already, so I don't think it's going to affect their current targets for this year so much. For next year, things might be a little bit different, right? At that point, we might be looking at, well, what really goes into a Bitcoin mining farm? Yeah, it's depending on how you build it, you got either containers or steel buildings going up. You have transformers. You have large amounts of electrical cables going into them, right? Copper. You also have a large amount of Ethernet cables, computers, servers, possibly as well. Not servers, not so much, but I'm thinking like the network. What are those? Switches, and things like that go into it. And the big thing is the Bitcoin miners, right? The ASICs. The ASICs are the big thing there. Transformers. I looked that up actually before going live here. I was doing some research on it. A lot of the transformers are actually built in the United States, so that shouldn't be a huge impact on those. You need transformers to have the power that comes in. You need to have transformers in place for all the buildings and everything else. Those are majority built in the United States anyways. Stuff you can get from China as well, but I think a lot of the companies have learned their lesson from getting Chinese transformers. I think Marathon was one of them that had issues when they bought the facilities last year. They had issues with those transformers there. Took them a while to get those replaced. And I think they got probably US-based products at that point. So I don't think that's going to be such a huge impact on the miners there. The network gear, switches, okay, you're going to be paying a little bit more on that, but that's usually coming from either, you can get those from China or you can get it from Mexico. So I think people are going to be looking to get stuff from China on that because it's only 10% more from that. So it's going to be, I don't know, what, $300, $400 network switch that you're going to be buying. You're going to be paying maybe, what, $40 more, $30 more, something like that. So that's not too bad. And you need, what do you need about those? You need about one of those for every, if you can get a pretty big switch, what is it, 48, 56, and I think you can also get like a 96 switch. One at the most. Actually, I don't think you can get a 96. Maybe. I don't know. It's been a while since I had to deal with switches, since my Bitcoin mining days. But you can definitely get some of those. So, I mean, you're still looking for quite a few of those going forward. And then the LAN cables, the Cat 5, Cat 6, E cables, those are usually made in China. So you're going to be paying a little bit more for those, but those are usually pretty inexpensive anyways. So that's not a big deal there. I don't think that's going to be a huge cost burden on them. The big thing is going to be the ASICs, I believe. And those are usually coming from China, but can you get around it by saying that the ASICs are built in Malaysia or someplace else in Japan, assembled or at least built in and shipped out of that country to bypass tariffs, possibly. So something that like Bitmain may look at doing. Same thing. It's not really might impact Bitdeer. Bitdeer's building their own ASICs as well. That might impact them a little bit there. But you might be able to get around that by going to a different country that is being assembled in or manufactured in whatever country. But the big thing is going to be ASICs. So if you're looking at 10% on top of ASICs, the miners are paying right now between $3,000 and $4,000 per machine. That's basically $300 to $400 additional on top of what they're paying right now. Is it a break deal for them? No. It's just going to mean that the ROI that they're going to get on those machines is going to take another month and a half to 2 months, maybe longer to get an ROI on that machine. So it's not the end of the world there. So overall, I don't think it's going to have a huge impact on the miners, the tariffs going forward. But we'll see how this all plays out, right? It's still early days. We'll see how long these last. I'm sure there's going to be some negotiations here possibly with that. Maybe they've already had some negotiations, but whatever it's going to be a while out before we actually know the final impact on any tariffs that are going to be imposed by the Trump administration here going forward on the miners. But yeah, that's basically it. So it's not all that bad, I guess, is what I'm trying to say here for the miners, right? So, but that is it. We'll get into you guys' Q&A side of things here right now. Like I said, there's not much news going on with the miners as it is. So it's easy day-to-day right now. We do have, I think, IREN reporting their Q3 results tomorrow. We'll go over that when they report, see how that's looking. And then I think we're still missing a couple more that have to report. Cleanspark is one of them. And I thought there was maybe one more that needs to report. But yeah, once they do that, then we'll go through the quarterly results for all the miners and grade them on their scores there. Okay? All right, that's it. Let's get into your Q&A side of things here. As always, please preface the question with a Q or a question mark or a question itself. And then the question, I'll try to get through all your guys' questions as always. It does take me a little bit of time as always. So be patient and I will get through the questions. So I'm going to go up here a little bit right now and let's see here. I'm trying to see what we have here. Well, as far as questions, okay, there we are. Okay. Trying to find out if we have any questions. Keith, thumbs up, like the button. Yeah, if you guys enjoyed it, definitely. And I keep saying I'm not the greatest salesperson here, so I'll probably do a very, very poor job of getting you guys to hit the like button, which is okay. We're here more for the information than anything else. Okay, here we go. Soda Heads, especially is it okay to buy Cleanspark at 1450. Bitcoin would go up again and cross 100,000 mark at least before Trump inauguration day, when market markers move it up. Yeah, I like the dollar cost average into these things, so it's up to you, right? I think at 1450 it's still a really good deal comparing to where I think it might actually go, right? My thoughts don't always play out the way I think they should, but I think based on previous cycles, I think we have a pretty good chance of the miners still going up at least a minimum of 3 to 5x from where they are right now, depending on where Bitcoin goes. But with all the adoption that we're seeing here, I think they will do that. It's just a matter of time, right? This is the time where they're really starting to get profitable, and we just need Bitcoin to go above 100,000, 110, 120, and they will definitely go up from there. Let's see your question. What was the news on Bitdeer dilution? Not sure if I missed it or not. I know that they had another was it convertible notes that they did, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong there, but I thought I saw something on that. Let's see. Par says, what's changed? LOL, Gensler's resigning. That's also a very positive news there, right? I also saw that, what's her name? She's also resigning. Gosh, I think she's in charge of the Fed. Is it the Fed? Can't remember now. Ellen, right? Ellen, I think is, what's her first name? Drawing a blank there. But she's resigning also. All right. Let's see. Question: will IREN beat earnings tomorrow? I don't think so. I don't know what their guidance was for the quarter, but the revenue was not higher than it was in Q2, based on my numbers at least that I have for them. For Bitcoin mining, we'll have to wait and see what they come up with HPC Hive business there. Oh yeah, Ahmed says, well, you need cooling systems and cooling towers and chillers for Bitcoin miners. That's if they're using immersion cooling, right? You only need that for that case. If you're doing just straight air cooling, you don't need that really. You do need fans and things like that for the most part, but yeah, cooling towers, and I think a lot of that stuff, I believe, I could be wrong on this, but I think Riot was buying like stuff from England at that for some of that stuff. But I think a lot of the stuff can be made here in the United States for that, because usually it's really big stuff. So I mean, it doesn't really make much sense for you to build it in. Maybe in Canada, maybe that might make sense, but like Mexico, I don't know if that makes sense to build it in Canada, Mexico or Canada even, to be honest with you guys, and then ship it back over here. Those things are massive. I don't know how much sense there would be in that. All right. Okay, let's see here. Paro says, I know Bitmain was rejected their IPO in China. Excuse me, they're currently waiting for American Exchange to give them a response. Oh, that's interesting. But I don't think it would actually matter. I think that's based on where your headquarters is at, and I think their headquarters is going to be in China. All right. Let's see. Para says maybe building a facility in the United States could be a play for Bitmain. They're not ones to usually build out facilities. I think a lot of the stuff that they do have is hosted, but maybe. Okay. Question here: how can we have this kind of volume and the stock goes nowhere? Bitcoin going up 40,000, Bitfarms drop 40%, or yeah, Bitfarms inverse ETF possibly. Yeah, that one is going to be interesting to watch going forward. We'll see what they come up with for November production as far as where do they install their hash rate and all that stuff. All right, what else? Here we go. See, question: can we have an OBS cost to mine, which includes amortization and basically all costs and depreciations? That would be great, right? And we can kind of figure that out roughly. It's an estimated number. We can probably look at that when they all report. Now we'll do that. We'll look at what it is with depreciation and like share-based compensation. We can add all that stuff into it if you guys want. We can see what the all-in cost is. But I really like to look at like the cash cost. What is the cash cost for them to operate? What's the profitability at that point? Yes, buying miners are going to depreciate them over time, but that's mostly included already in the dilution that we've seen. So that's kind of the way I look at it. Let's see. Question: you think Bitcoin will go below 90 to 70K before we go up again? Well, it's possible. It's not out of the question, right? Bitcoin has historically, when it's gone up in a nice parabolic rise, it's had corrections of 10 to 20%, sometimes even 30%. So if we look at it here from where we are right now, if we go back down, well, 20% would be around 80,000, right? Let's go back here. That's 1380. 20% would be, yeah, roughly around 80,000 at that point, right? So it's not out of the question that we could see this, because if we look back at prior cycles, we can definitely see that we did dip. Let's go back here to this one. Where is it at? There we go. Okay, so there's the first top, second top, and you can see here that from like the peaks here, like from here to here, we went down 20, 30% over a number of, what is that, 18 trading days roughly. And then we also did it back here. We went down 25%. We also did it over here, where we went up nicely and then came back down 17%. So we definitely can see that, but look at the gains that we had here. Like before we actually had a pullback, we had 294% up before we had a major pullback. I mean, I don't know what this pullback here was, probably kind of small. Let's just take a look at it here. This was 20% pullback back here as well. So yeah, it's definitely, so let's look at it from this pullback to how far we went up from here up to here. We went 150%. And then from the bottom more or less here to the top here, we went up 100%. So we can do this, right? We go up 100%. And I think it's kind of what we've done here is gone up almost 100%. Recently, let's take a look at it here from the bottom here to the top. What do? We went up to approximately 50%. So I think we may have a little bit more room to go, possibly, before we have a pullback. But we're having a pullback right now, which I think is healthy. So anything is possible with Bitcoin. And what did we go here? All right. Already covered that question already. Okay, here we go. Question, hi Seb, are you expecting parabolic phase in the next few months, Q1 of 2025? Thanks. For the miners, yeah. This is right around, 6 months after the halving event is kind of where we're waiting for the miners to actually start waking up. Bitcoin's going up nicely. They're starting to get really profitable as well. And Bitcoin continues to go up. I would expect it in Q1 at the latest for these guys to really start doing really well, especially once they report Q4 results, which should be really good for them with Bitcoin hovering around here in 90,000s right now. That's going to do very well for them. That should give them positive EPSs. Unless they throw in a bunch of crap here at the end of the year for bonuses, everything else, that might have an impact on a little bit here. But going forward into Q1, yeah, I would expect them to do well. Okay. I said, what stock sectors would you invest in knowing that Trump is back in office? Geez, I don't know. I know he's pro-growth, right? Pro-business. He wants to get rid of a lot of the regulatory hurdles that are in place right now on a lot of the companies. So I think that's going to be great for him in the long run for a lot of the companies here that are U.S.-based, right? Not just any particular sector. I think oil would be another one, natural gas, electricity, energy, right? Those types of things. Maybe even manufacturing. I know he wants us to manufacture more. That could be a boom there. Laser Beam says, yeah. Janet Yellen, thank you for, Treasury. Okay. Yep. I knew it was something. Okay. Let's see here. I don't know if you've talked about it before, but what is your opinion on miners using hydro machines? Are you talking about the hydros that are like enclosed, like you see from Bitmain? They have the XP hydro or something like that, where it's an all enclosed system where you have their container, you put it into their container as well, and then you have basically the cooling going through that system there. I don't have a lot of data on those things, but they do seem very promising as far as one log. I can't pronounce that word. I can't pronounce it. The how well they are able to last longer, right? Longevity, that's the word I'm trying to think of. And the costs are a little bit higher on those things, I believe, but they do last longer, and they can possibly overclock them a little bit more. They also have better hash rate usually. So if you can do that, it makes sense for you to do that, then I'm not against it. Let's see here. Hi, Seb. States import electrical power from Canada. A 25% tax will hurt. Would it be on electrical, or would it be just on... See, that's what we need more details on it, right? What's it actually going to encompass? Is it going to be just a straight across the board 25% tax? Then, yeah, that would definitely hurt anybody that's operating close to the border, I guess. But I don't know how many actual miners are importing electricity from Canada to run their operations. Let's see here. Have you noticed the micro has outperformed micro strategy here recently? Yes, I have noticed that. Let's see here. The next support for Bitcoin is at 88,300. Do we see Bitcoin falling to that level before going up, or was 92 the bounce? Well, it's just like I talked about here just a couple minutes ago. Anything is possible with Bitcoin. We're only up 50% from our previous little dip down. Historically, Bitcoin has gone up at least 100%, or roughly around 100%. Then it's fallen back down 20-30%. So we'll have to wait and see how this one plays out. If this little dip that we had here recently, which is down about, 8%, 10% that we were down right now on it. I can't remember now here. Too many numbers in my head. We're down, 7% on it. So could it go down more? Yeah, it could definitely go down more. And at that point, I see that as a buying opportunity. Anytime you see that, right? Maybe not so much when you're in a much higher price range, but right now I think with the miners being the way they are, if we get a dip on those, I think it's still a really good opportunity to get in. Okay. DC Riot market cap crossing 16 billion, considering last cycle the peak market cap was 8 billion. Let me take a look at it here. Where's my numbers? Where's it at? Market cap for the miners. Okay, so here's the market cap of the miners as of today. Marathon's at 8.5 billion, right? CORZ at 5 billion. Riot's at 4 billion. Yeah, I mean, for Riot to be, that would be only 2x, or actually, right? Is that the question you had there? Let's see here. What was the question? Oh, I missed the question. 16 billion. Okay, so that would be a 4x, right, from where we are right now. Yeah, that'd be 4x from 4,000 to like 16,000 or 4,000. Wow, 4 billion to 16 billion. That'd be a 4x. I think that is possible for them to do that. Remember, Marathon at the peak last cycle was like 8 billion at last time. It's already at 8 billion right now, and we're just getting into this bull run here. So it'll definitely be interesting to see how high they get up in value. But they were also priced at around $80. Right now they're at what, $25, something like that. So it is definitely a decrease in the value of the share, but you have a higher market cap. And if they can still do at least a 4x or something like that, you're still going to, well, you might actually get to like $100 possibly with them, right? At that point. All right, and there's that one. Okay. Can you rank these 5 miners from best to worst to own? IREN, Bitfarms, Cypher, Riot, Griffin. Thanks. Okay. Based on those, I would say IREN, Riot, maybe, if they improve their operations, then Bitfarms, Cypher, and Griffin, in that order, roughly. Okay. Okay, what are you expecting to hear from IREN? They are reporting very soon. Well, IREN is, I mean, I'm not expecting a great deal much from them. They have increased their hash rate and all that stuff here. So here's IREN. I am looking at them to be probably around 49 million here just for the Bitcoin mining side of things for Q3. They were at 53 million here in Q2 numbers, right? Could I be off on this? Maybe. I know they installed a lot here as far as hash rate is concerned. A little bit less so, but they had a lot of growth here. Where is it at? Hash rate, yeah. August, let's see, July. They did nicely. Then they increased to 16 exahash, 21 exahash. So they had growth there. But we also saw quite a lot of growth here in network hash rate. Plus we saw network hash rate grow here as well in May, June, July. We had a little bit of dip in April and May, actually, but then June, July continued to run up, but they were kind of flat here for it. And based on my numbers, that's kind of what I'm seeing here. We'll see how close I get to it. I'm usually pretty close to it. So we'll see. But yeah, I'm not expecting them to beat their revenue unless they really did sell at much better pricing than what I'm using, right? I'm using the average Bitcoin price for each month here for their estimated revenue. So we'll see how they do going forward. And let's see here. Yeah, that's 20 million. Yeah, we got, right, am I using that correctly? Is that correct? 49 million, yeah, 49 million. So that's kind of what I'm seeing. All right, go bang back here. Covered that. Let's see, Para says, question, check out the Bitfarms versus BTC chart. It might give you some of your followers a glimmer of hope compared to October 2020 and look what happened after. Okay, interesting. Question, I've been comparing the miners charts to BTC instead of USD and it has really helped. Definitely recommend. Okay, I'll take a look at it to see how to do that. Are you using TradingView to do that, Para? All right, let's see here. Seb, thoughts on how you think Cleanspark will report on Thursday for earnings? Are they reporting Thursday? I have not seen anything. I think that's, I don't know. If they are reporting, it'd be great. Would love to see their numbers as well. But I'm not sure if they're reporting on Thursday. I haven't seen anything from them. Let's see here. Cleanspark is also going to be, I think, less than Q2 results for them. If we look over here, they had 104 million here in Q2 for the September quarter, Q3, which is their end of fiscal year. I have them at 89 million, so they're down about, 15 million in revenue since then. So I don't know. We'll have to wait and see how much they also throw in there for the end of the fiscal year, bonuses, things like that. What does that actually entail for them? Okay, going back here. Okay. Do you think IREN having one huge place in Texas is a big advantage over Bitfarms being more spread out? I'm starting to think IREN might be a better way forward these next 6 to 9 months. So as you guys know, I own both IREN and Bitfarms. I think IREN right now is a little bit more higher value in my portfolio right now. IREN does have a huge site in Texas. They also have sites in Canada as well. I think they've done a pretty good job here recently with the power fees, the cost there in Texas right now. So I think that's going to work out pretty well for them, as long as they don't have to curtail a lot. If they have to curtail a lot, that's going to be an issue for them. But other than that, having one site is nice. But then if you get a storm roll through, a tornado, or whatever it might be, that's one site, then you're out pretty much. So I think diversification is a good thing. How much diversification do you really need? Do you need to be across other countries and things like that? Maybe you're a little bit diversified that way, but I don't like having like all your eggs in one basket, right? Okay. Let's see if we got any questions. Okay, question, here we go. Why are people still measuring BTC in our current system when we debase the value of fiat? It's either people believe BTC, store of value, or people still cheering for inflationary environments. Yeah, good question. I think it's just people are just so used to valuing everything to the US dollar because that's still like the dominant world currency basically for trading anything like that. In time, I think maybe that will change, but right now, right, people are still valuing, okay, if I hold on Bitcoin or whatever it might be till it reaches 200,000, 250,000, how many Bitcoin do I have? What can I buy for that? And, you still can't buy everything with Bitcoin right now. So I think in time that will change maybe, but we'll see. All right. Everyone's talking about the US BTC reserve adoption. How long does a bill normally take to pass the US? It depends. They got majority in the Senate, majority in the House. They have the presidency as well. So it shouldn't take too long, I wouldn't think. But you never know. You could have people that are filibustering it, and it could take you longer. So could be a couple of weeks, could be a couple of days, could be a couple of weeks, or it could be a couple of months. We'll have to wait and see. Okay. All right. Let's see here. Hi, Seb. With Trump's history of support for traditional energy sources like coal and oil, how could this impact electrical rates for mining operations? That I don't know. I don't know how much of an impact that would have on it. I know that states have their own mandates for clean air and things like that. Could they actually start up those coal sites and things like that again? I don't know. I'm not an electrical expert. Okay. Okay, let's see here. Microsoft has a patent on blockchain tech where people are the miners. Is that patent number? Note that last digit heads up on this one. This is 666. Okay. I haven't seen that. Okay. How high can Mara get considering its current price? Well, if you look at just 4x, they're looking at about $100, right? They have a much larger HODL right now. Their hash rate has been much better than it was last cycle. Basically they were at I think 3 exahash when they peaked. So they're pretty much 10x that from where they were. It's just, they're going to do very well going forward here. It just depends where Bitcoin goes. All right. There's a lot of questions about the valuation of MSTR and by proxy Mara. Do you have any extended thoughts on the converted notes at 0% and higher valuation as we are pretty much at 100,000 already? So there's a lot of people covering it, right, as far as what the MNAV is for MicroStrategy and for Mara. On that one, I think based on the MNAV right now, MicroStrategy is a little bit, at least to me, overvalued. I think it needs a little bit of a pullback. I think that would be healthy. Mara, I saw Penny Ether actually report this on Twitter today, that it's actually lower than MicroStrategy right now. So that means I could actually go up higher because of it. And then the interesting part of it is, for me, I want some numbers on it, but I would like to see if you take out like Marathon's operations for Bitcoin mining, things like that. If you take that out of the equation along with MicroStrategy's software business, if you take that out, what is the MNAV at that point? Right. So how much does that actually bring into it? Or are you just looking at the market share or the market cap of the stocks and the HODL? Okay, that's one thing. But part of that is also, I think, part, very maybe small part for MicroStrategy is their business operations for software development, for enterprise and things like that. But I don't know. All right, let's see here. Seb, are you still adding to your Bitfarms holdings shares? I'm still holding shares. I haven't added anything in the last, I think it's been the last time I bought was what, 2 weeks ago, 2.5 weeks ago, something like that. But I haven't added anything here recently. Do you see IREN flipping Riot in stock price? IREN was 10 to 15% about Riot just a couple of months back. It's going to be tough for them to flip. Riot has a much larger huddle. IREN does not have any kind of huddle, right? The only way that IREN, I think, could flip Riot potentially is if they come up with a HPCI deal with somebody. That's the only way I can think. Okay, talked about that. Especially, what's your average buy price on your mining stocks? Cleanspark on average is like $3 something. Bitfarms is like $1.65, $1.70, somewhere around there. IREN is a little bit higher. Got my memory. I think IREN's like $5, $6, something like that on average for that one. Let's see here. I saw on X something about Bitmain being held up in customs. Have you heard anything on this, or is this just FUD? Is that regarding Bitfarms? I'm not sure. I haven't heard anything about that. Okay. All right. What price do you think is a very good entry for IREN? I think for a lot of these guys here, and that's based on, as you guys know, I like to look at the enterprise value on these guys here. I think IREN right now, along with Cleanspark, Bitfarms, Marathon, even Riot, I think are just good entry points right now. Because you can see it here based on future hash rate growth, right? They're still, I mean, there's like a huge difference between these guys here and some of these guys over here. So I think entry point wise, anything you can get around these levels, I think is a good entry point right now on them. As I would expect them to do better going forward, but my expectations sometimes don't come into reality. So take that with a grain of salt as always, right? But if you got into them earlier on, you're probably doing pretty good here right now. And a lot of these guys, we'll see what the next 9 to 12 months brings us, but I think it's going to be really, really good. Okay. All right, so there's that. All right, Amik says, Seb, what is your volume? Why is your volume so low compared to other YouTube videos? I watch other videos at 50% volume while yours is at 60%. Is that some setting issues? Maybe it's also because I'm a soft-spoken guy. I don't have a deep or I'm soft-spoken, I guess. So I've got my volume cranked at 95% right now, and I want to go to 100%. But it is what it is. I know I've heard this from other people as well, and some people say it's okay, that the volume is good. And I've compared my videos to other people. I'm a little bit on volume-wise, but I don't think it's that bad. Maybe I'm wrong. All right, here. So, Seb, if Bitfarms report is not good on Monday, are you not going to hang in till February earnings or even January report? We'll see what it is. I'll evaluate at that point. I'll let you guys know what I think of it. I've been in it for quite a while now. I'm still up in the green on it, so it's kind of like, okay, I'm still in the green. I'm not in the red. So I'm not in any big hurry, but then I have to evaluate, does it make sense to hold on to it longer, right? Could it be that I sell and then it goes up, like the rest of the miners are probably going to go up as well? And so it's one of those tricky spots that we're in right now where it's kind of like, maybe the indecision would be the best thing, not to decide anything, just leave it as is, see where it goes, and see how things play out in the next 2 to 3 months. You just never know. We'll cover it though. Okay, let's see. Why are you against adding Caspa miners mining Cas for a reason? What would need to happen to change your mind? I'm not against it. I thought actually was a great thing that they were mining Caspa. Just kind of diversifying a little bit, and if you can make a lot of money on it, I mean, that's why you're there. You're there to make money from mining. So whether it's Bitcoin or Caspa, I was mining Dogecoin, Litecoin. What was the other one that I was also, the other one. It wasn't Doge. It was something else. It started with the D, I think also. Dash coin. I was mining those. It's just, you're trying to find where the revenue is at. And if you can get better revenue from mining other coins, all the power to them. So I'm not against it at all. Okay. A question, Cleanspark or IREN. Also, any predictions on other miners diluting to buy BTC? Well, I mean, it's becoming a trend right now, right? We saw Hut 8 today, Asher Ganut, poses a question on Twitter. Should Hut 8 start a Bitcoin strategic reserve on it? And Sailor chimed in on it also, like a, what did he say, question mark or something like that. So that is definitely being floated around, I'm sure, within the board suites there of all of these companies. And maybe more so on the companies that don't have anything right now, which includes TeraWolf, IREN, who else doesn't own anything? Core doesn't own anything, and BitTier, I believe, doesn't own anything either. So as far as who would look into it, I mean, Cleanspark already has a HODL right there at like 9,000 Bitcoin right now as it is. IREN doesn't have anything, so I don't know who would go into the treasury part of it. Maybe Cleanspark, I think. Okay, covered that. Okay. Let's see, MX says, considering miner prices on average have been at the same level for the past 12 months, while BTC has gone up from 45 to 90,000, do you think Bitcoin goes to 150,000 miners to stay with 20 to 30% of the current levels? I would find it very hard to believe that would be the case, because once we're at 150,000, miners are going to be making basically 100,000, roughly, I'm just saying $100,000 per Bitcoin in profit. That's going to be huge. You can't, have blinders on and not see the potential that they have in as far as revenue is concerned. So if you're mining $100,000 in profit, let's say you're mining 500, that's, what is it? Bitcoin, what does it come out to be? $50 million in revenue a month at that point, roughly. So, yeah, I don't think that's going to be the case. Okay. Okay. Where did you get your quarter zip? This one, I think this one is either from Macy's or from Express. One of those two. I can't remember. I did some shopping on Saturday. And I know I picked it up. One of those two stores where I went and did shopping. Okay. I think you spoke about it yesterday, but it'd be great to hear your thoughts on the impact of the SEC Rule 201 we'll have on the miners moving into Q1 2025. Well, the SEC Rule 201 is if a miner gets shorted by shorts and it goes down like 10% in a trading day or something like that because of it, then there's a halt on it and they can't do it for like 2 days or something like that. They can only bid at the current market price or ask price, whatever it was. I can't remember what it was. So I think eventually the short sellers will will stop. You can only do it for so long before these guys really do become much more profitable. And at that point, you're asking for it at that point if you're still shorting them. Okay. Let's see here. Everyone is asking when Seb and why Seb. I want to know how Seb. I'm good. I hope you guys are good too. I'm always good though. You may not see it in my facial expressions, but I'm always a happy-go-lucky guy. I'm always very positive on things. There's always a solution to a problem. That's the way I look at it. All right. Let's see here. So will you get rid of Riot this cycle? And if yes, when and why? Would I get into Riot? Okay. Sorry, I thought you said get rid of. Would I get into Riot? I possibly might get into Riot if I saw much better operational uptime from them for an extended period of time. So big thing for me is Jason is looking to get to 95% operational uptime on average throughout the year. So I would expect to see much better operations like in the winter months like we are right now. Would like to see them closer to about 100%. In the summertime, I know they're going to be curtailing, which is okay. But still, I would like to see that at least like around 80% to 85%. Because on average, if you want to get to 95%, you really need to have much more operations in the winter times than you do in the summer times, which I understand. So if they can do that for a number of months, at that point, I may look into them. But right now, they're improving, which is good, but I need to see much better uptime. Okay, let's see here. In your bar charts, can you add a remark like higher is better or lower is better? This will help out the dummies like me. Yeah, I do that for some things that even remind me which is better, especially when it comes to like debt to equity ratios, what's the other one? Current ratios, all that stuff. I even put that in there for my own sake. But But some of the stuff that we look at, especially when we look at like the enterprise value, things like that, I probably could put down here that, depending on how you look at it, I guess I could put in here that lower number equals more undervalued or something like that, and high numbers equal way overvalued maybe at that point on some of these things. So I'll take a look at it, see what I can do here to add a little bit more clarity on it going forward. Thanks for that tip there. Okay. Do you think Bitfarms can do a 3x from here? I would be, to be honest, I'll be surprised if it doesn't. If Bitcoin gets to 200,000, 250,000, whatever it might be, I would be surprised if it doesn't at least do a 3x, to be honest. Let's see. If Bitfarms explodes in value, say 4x, would Riot sell their shares? They might. At that point, you, as an investor, wouldn't you take profits at that point? So you kind of have to look at it that way, that you probably do want to sell your portion of that if you're up 4x on it. They have what, $100 some odd million invested in it, in the company, being at, or maybe closer probably to like 200 million, being at 19% of it. So being 4x, you're at what, 1.2 billion at that point? My math is right? Right? No, 4x would be 800 million. So yeah, I would definitely take profits at that point and sell out. But that's just me. We'll see what Riot does. Okay. So Bitcoin drops to 85, 88,000. Do we see miners dropping another 20, 30%? Oh, yeah. If miner... that's the interesting part there. What if we were starting to see a rotation happening from like MicroStrategy and things like that and plays like that getting into the miner? So maybe they won't drop 20, 30%. Maybe they drop only 10% or 15%. Hard to tell. Let's see, Ed says, don't sell Seb. Yeah, you sold CORZ at 12 and jumped to 18 right after. So hang in there with almost there. Yeah, you're right about that, right? I thought the miners would do better going forward, and CORZ has continued to kind of go up like I thought it would, actually. That it would just slowly continue to inch up in prices. It gets closer to the event of where they're making a lot of money from CoreWeave. But I thought the miners were going to do better here going forward. All right, what else here? All right. I said, what would be the reason Cleanspark is being sold off every trading day? It makes me regretful holding it through every day gain and loss. It's not easy holding on to a lot of these guys here, right? They all do pretty much the same thing for the most part, except for the ones that have been catching in the HBCI bid for them. But the reason is they've been shorted. They've been manipulated. People are hedging with the miners. So that's the main reason why and eventually that will cease. It's just a matter of when. Do I know when? I wish I knew. I wish I had a crystal ball. I could tell you guys, hold on until we get to this date and we're going to do great. I don't know. Once the big boys, the institutions, whoever's doing it, they've had their fill and they're, getting ready to let these things rip, then they'll let them go. Will Bitfarms price ever be on the same level as Iris or Cleanspark? No, it will never be on the same price-wise because they have more shares outstanding. So you have to look at the market cap of the miners. Take that into consideration also. Where's the market cap for... let's see, take a look at it here. Market cap, I think I got it over here. There we go. So market cap on these guys here, you can see the difference here where you have Bitfarms with 448 million shares outstanding, right? You got... Cleanspark 248, IREN's about 187 right now. We're still waiting on the quarterly results for those guys, so that should increase probably. But yeah, and that's the price of Bitfarms is not going to get anywhere near the price of these guys are. Bitfarms being at $2 right now has a market cap of just say 900 million to a billion, right? Roughly, right? If it goes 4x from here, it'll get to 4 billion, 5 billion, something like that, right? Where we could possibly see it getting to. The price at that point is going to be, of the stock is going to be only $8 to $10, right? It may go higher than that, where we get to maybe 8 billion on it, and that would be an 8x roughly, right? If we could do that, and at that point, the prices of the stock is going to be $16, where the price of the other stocks are going to be like closer to like $60, $70, $80, maybe even higher than that. So never look at the stock price for comparison. Always look at the market cap, enterprise value as well on these guys. Where are they at in comparison to each other? Because that gives you more comparison, I guess, a better comparison than stock price, because stock price is based on the number of shares outstanding. All right, so there's that. All right, here. Sorry, what's the impact on the tariffs on the miners? I think it's going to be minimal, to be honest. We covered it in the beginning, so if you want to, I think you might be able to go back right now, rewind it. All right. Let's see. Question: Rumble just approved buying Bitcoin. What are your thoughts on global acceptance of Bitcoin, and if it's a reserve asset, it wouldn't be something sold? Are we close to supply shock for BTC? Yeah, I mean we should be, right? MicroStrategy just bought another what? How much did you buy? 30-some thousand, 55,000 Bitcoin here recently for like a couple $1 billion. Where is that coming from? I really would like to know, because right now we're generating only 450 Bitcoin a day compared to what they're buying. It's like, where is that coming in from? Is it paper money that they're trading there, or paper Bitcoin? I have no idea where they're getting that kind of supply, unless somebody's really selling that much at these levels here, which it could be. So I do think we're going to get a supply shock going forward. That's why I think the price is going to go actually higher than what I actually expected. All right, let's see here. Pride says, I've always thought that when Bitcoin doubles to about 200,000, that Cleanspark, IREN, and Bitfarms will do a 5x from their prices now, and Bitfarms might even do better since it's so low now. Well, that was always my thesis, my thoughts on it, right? So that's kind of the way I've also thought about it. Will it do that? I don't know. Ideally, I think it should, but will it do that? I don't know. All right, let's see what else here. All right. What percentage alts do you have, Seb? They have had some run recently. So I still have, alts are a very, very small percentage of my overall portfolio. I do have Doge. I got ADA, HBAR, or what else do I have there? Geez, I got something else in there as well. I'm pretty sure. I can't remember what it is. I think it's like Sia Coin or something like that. They're finally starting to get back to like me being only down 50% from where I bought them last cycle. So I think once they get close to at least me breaking even with those things, I'll be happy, and I'm going to be selling out of those things. I'm done with alts. All right, let's see here. Seb, we discussed this on the podcast this past week. What do you think about the halving cycle? Will we still follow the Bitcoin rainbow chart pattern now that institutions are acting like BTC reserves? I mean, a good question on that one. Right, we've always come down. What has it been? But the rainbow chart is also like the lows and the bottoms. What if we just stay in that path where it's always in that middle part and just continues to go up? I mean, we're gonna have little dips here and there, but it continues to go up. So the rainbow chart, I think I would take that out of the equation here possibly. The bigger question is, will we have a similar cycles where we have a huge run up and then a big fall? Right now, it's too early to tell if we're gonna have a big fall. Where we go down 70-80% on Bitcoin, whatever it might be, and the miners go down 90%, 95% again. That, I don't know. That's a question that we will only get answered over time. I don't know if there's any way of knowing if that's going to play out that way. With all the institutions and everything else that's getting into it, the demand, the reserves, the states, countries, pension funds, companies putting it on the balance sheet, could we have an extended cycle? The probability of that, I think, is increasing. Only time will tell. All right, let's see your question. What are your thoughts on $12 IREN call options expiring in 2027 December and per call 590? Should I buy? Thoughts? I don't do options, so somebody else might have better information on that than I do. I'll be honest with you guys. I just buy the shares. I find it to be a heck of a lot less stressful as it is already with buying the miners here. So that is just another level of stress to me that I don't need. So I don't get into options at all. Let's see. Question. Do you remember reading in Riot Bitfarms settlement that Riot will not sell their shares? There's something they won't sell their shares for a certain amount of time. If they sell below a certain point, there's some rules there. You guys can read it. I can't remember all the details on it right now, though. But I know there are some caveats to it. Question. Bitfarms is looking like a very late bloomer on the run up to at 300,000 Bitcoin. What price is Bitfarms worth and what revenues are they getting? I'm struggling planning to rotate into them and out of Mawson in the spring. Okay. So you're quite a ways out. That'll depend greatly on a couple of things. How fast does Bitcoin get to 300,000? Where's the network hash rate at that point? Where is Bitfarms hash rate as well? And that way we can kind of see what they're actually going to be generating at that point. So we need those kind of 3 variables to play with in order to look at it. So it's tough. At 300,000, I would think, geez, I mean, everything's going to be up like crazy. They should be up probably at that point like 10 to 15x, I would think. Question, now that Hive is moving to the United States, do you think they will be higher than previously thought? They're moving to the United States? Is that the release today that they came out with that I saw? Something about, let me see here. Hive Digital Technologies, let's see here. I was not aware that they were looking to move to the United States. But yeah, I mean, there's so much more capital here in the United States. And if you're based in the United States, let's see here. Let's take a look at the news here for them. I saw that earlier today, but I thought it was something to do about their meeting or something like that. Where's their news? Their website is kind of, let's see, Hive, investors, news. Well, there's news coverage, news releases. There we go. So here we go. Here's what I saw. Hive Digital Technologies announces continued momentum with green energy strategy and independent proxy advisory support for upcoming annual general shareholder. What's in the shareholder meeting? Meeting details. The board for directors Hive recommends shareholders vote for all December. Hive encourages the shareholders to vote. How to vote? Okay, but what's in there though? Am I missing something here? I might be missing something. Yeah, so I haven't heard anything about that unless I'm missing something, like I said. But that would be interesting. If they do move to the United States, I think that would be better for them. But I think because of this, the growth that they have here planned for next year, it's basically to double from where they are right now, roughly. Stay with the Bitcoin network hash rate to get about 1% of it. It's not that ambitious to me. If they're looking to becoming like a top 5 miner, okay, at that point, yeah, I mean, gloves are off, right? We're off to the races. Okay, let's see. Seb, do you think replacing your giraffe with a bull will help miners pump? Maybe, but then again, a giraffe has a nice long neck, right? Kind of like the candle that we want. We want a nice candle going up with a giraffe, kind of similar. What else here? At what BTC price Bitfarms could hit 10 billion? That's 10x from where they are right now. I think we would have to be above 200,000, closer probably to 250,000, just generally thinking. Let's see here. The question, wouldn't the tariffs increase cost of mining rigs cost since Bitmain is, yes, it will increase it by 10%, right? So it's only like $300 per rig, roughly, $300 to $400, depending on the rig that you're buying there, at least for them, right? They're paying $16 per terahash, something like that. So they're going to be paying a little bit more for it. So it's going to be at $16, $1.60 more. So you're looking at $17 something per terahash. All right, let's see here. Can you compare MicroStrategy tomorrow? The only way to really compare them is through the MNAV value there. I don't have that figured out yet. If you want to find that information, that's really good. Check out Penny Ether. He posted it today on Twitter, I keep saying Twitter, on X, and it's a really good breakdown of the two. So take a look at him. There's also other people that British Huddle, I think, also does a lot of good stuff on them. Who else? DR Lewis as well. I concentrate more on the miners. But it's an interesting setup there. Okay. Let's see here. Seb, you need to understand MicroStrategy is not valued based on now. It's valued based on potential. That's why NAV doesn't matter much. Canadian company that holds Bitcoin Soluna has reached NAV of 10. Okay. Yeah. Some things will do that, right? But look at MicroStrategy to Bitcoin in comparison. It does outrun Bitcoin sometimes, like we have right now, and then pulls back to kind of more of a reality, right? Because, all right, let's say you got $10 billion worth of Bitcoin. Still $10 billion, right? So you're basically thinking that that's going to be worth, Bitcoin goes up 2x from here, it's going to be worth basically 20 billion at that point, right? If it goes 3x, you're looking at 30 billion, okay. So I can see that where you're forward looking on Bitcoin price going up in value. Okay, that's fine. But what if Bitcoin doesn't go that high, right? So then you have to look at the opposite of it, which we don't really want to look at it. We want to think that Bitcoin's going to continue to go up. So I do understand that MicroStrategy does go up. Front run Bitcoin goes up a little bit too fast, too high. and it pulls back a little bit down. Excuse me, you can see that actually earlier this year it happened as well. Not just now, but earlier this year as well. It went up a lot higher than Bitcoin did, and it did pull back to more reasonable, like a 2x on Bitcoin is. So that's kind of where I would, where I'd like to see MicroStrategy at least come back down to 2x. From there, it can go again, be up 4x on top of Bitcoin, even higher than, especially when we get into like a major bull run here. Let's see, question. What is IREN earnings call EPS tomorrow? Prediction, HPC plus BTC mining revenue. Revenues are going to be down actually for Bitcoin mining from the prior quarter. So I'm not expecting much difference from them. I mean, we can see what, it all depends also how much do they depreciate the machines, how much share-based compensation they add in there. That's the tough part to figure out what they're going to do with it. I can figure out the rest of the stuff here pretty easy, more or less, based on how many shares they had. I mean, how many shares do they also have? Did they increase there? But in Q2, they had EPS, where was it? 29 cents negative, right? They were down 29 million here in net losses. What was the major effect of that? I think the major effect of that was possibly, share-based expenses was quite high. This was actually Q4, sorry. That was fiscal, what is that? Fiscal year 2024, and they're also kind of goofy. So let's see, Q3, see, that was fiscal year in 2024. That ended in June. So that was over here. So I don't have the numbers for that. I'm guessing it was probably a couple cents here that they were down. But for the first half, they were down 29 cents. And if we compare it to that's fiscal year, that doesn't really help me out, though. I really need to see like the quarterly results for these guys, for all these things. So we'll see. I'm not too concerned about it. And you shouldn't really concerned about it either right now with the financial results of Q3 for them, or their Q1, I guess is going to be. Because we knew Bitcoin was down in the dumps. They were still growing and everything else. So I wouldn't hold that against them. It's look at the future potential for them as far as where Bitcoin is, where is their hash rate right now, right? Which we've seen a nice ramp up in hash rate as well. And then they're getting to 31 exahash by the end of the year here. So we still have a lot of growth here in the next month and a week, basically, that's going to happen here. So that's what I would really be looking at with them. All right, going back here. All right. Let's see your question. Why are the viewers not hitting the like button and following Seb right now on X? Just gave a follow, Seb. Thanks for the content, please. Peace, everyone. Hope people make money out there. Yeah, so do I. That's why I kind of do this. And thank you for joining me on X as well. I don't post a lot on X. What I do, I try to provide at least some value to it. I'm not going to be, I post memes every once in a while, but it's not that often. I like to be more in the numbers and things like that. I'll post some charts and things like that, which you guys see here anyways, in that one. But I also will now reply I'll repost things that I find interesting for you guys there. All right. Sebastian, would it be wiser to invest in Bitfarms instead of Cleanspark, given that Bitfarms appears to have lower downside risk? Oh, wow. I don't know, right? So you're looking at basically a multiple X on it. My original thought process, at least the last couple of weeks, couple of months even, Bitfarms seem to be way more undervalued than Cleanspark is. I own a lot of Cleanspark shares also, but I think Cleanspark is going to do fantastically well. With Bitfarms now delaying their target to get to 21 exahash, that's making me pause and think, right? When will they actually get that installed? How will they grow next year as well? So there's a little bit more questions that I have around them, where I think maybe Cleanspark might be a better, safer play. Okay, Bitfarms is a little bit more of a possibly a home run if you can get it, right? If it happens that way, whereas like Cleanspark, IREN, I think are safe double or triple, something like that. And if you compare it in baseball terms. All right. Hey, Seb, sorry for joining late. No problem. Do you think Bitfarms gets a run regardless of what BTC running before New Year? I'm wondering if it's catching up or not. I think Bitfarms will run with everything else is going to run. The miners are them, not only them, but also Cleanspark, IREN, Mara, Riot. Mara not anymore, but I think like Riot's still probably getting shorted as well. They're all being manipulated by the big guys right now, and we're kind of at their mercy. I think we just need to be patient on these things, and these things will run. All right. Let's see. Did Bitcoin start a correction today, and we'll move down to 74,000? I think a 20% correction could be in the works, but we're only up 50% from where we were. So historically, we've seen corrections after we get like 100% in Bitcoin, and then we correct 20, 30%. So I'm not sure. Let's see. Sorry, Seb. They are looking into the legal process to moving, but have not moved yet. Okay. Similar to kind of what I think Bitfarms is looking at possibly as well. Them and IREN as well, right? Those guys are all based out of the United States here. Let's see. Hi, Seb. Holded Bitfarms from the summer and finally changed it for cash or other miners. I used to be a believer, but what made me not happy was CEO all of a sudden avoiding certain topics growth. Yeah, I'm with you on that one. I'm not happy about that either. I have a considerable position in them right now. So I need to see what's going on here in basically November. How did they improve their hash rate? They had, 20,000 machines going into Stronghold. How many did they get installed there? How many got energized? Need to see what's going on there and see if they provide any kind of guidance going forward on it as well. Yeah, but that definitely, I was basing my assumptions on them getting to 21 exahash by the end of the year. Those are being pushed out here. So wasn't happy about that. That's why I said I need at least another month to see what's going on here. Let's see. Right, let's see here. It takes 3 months to move and set up, according to Mara, who has done it already. Mara was based in Canada? I thought they were always United States based, but I could be wrong on that. Let's see. All right. Let's see. ATM offerings might help miner stocks grow much higher, but investors are not getting anything out of them besides their shrinking capital. I agree with you in a sense, and I also disagree with you in a sense. Depending on how you're growing it, right? What are you using it for as well? If you look at, I like using Cleanspark as an example because I think it's a perfect example from where they started in 2021 with 100 petahash in January, right? And now we're in, what is it? So you got 2021, 22, 23, 24. Basically in 4 years, they're now like the second largest Bitcoin miner. And how did they grow that? They did it through what I believe to be a creative dilution of investors' shares to get to where they are right now. And I expect them to do really, really well going into the next couple of months, 9 to 12 months when we peak in Bitcoin possibly. So there are good examples of the way it should be done. I think Cleanspark is one of them. There are other companies that maybe would be a good example for why you don't do it. But I'm not going to name names there. All right. But let's see. I think we are all caught up here. On that one. Yep. So we're all caught up. So tomorrow we have, what do we got tomorrow? Tomorrow we got IREN talking about their quarterly results. We'll see what those are actually like. And then we got basically just Wednesday, really, for trading. I think Wednesday's going to be a shorter day for trading as well. So we'll see what Bitcoin does. We'll see what miners do. We'll see what other news stories we get, other adoption in Bitcoin and everything else, stories that come up as well. We'll talk about those and get into your guys' Q&A. Right. So again, thank you so much for coming in. As always, love you guys for doing that, loving the questions and everything else. You guys make me think. I love that. But yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a great night. If you guys don't come back because you guys are traveling because of holidays like Thanksgiving weekend, I hope you guys have a great Thanksgiving, and I'll see you guys afterwards. All right. So stay safe out there if you're traveling. I know a lot of people are going to be traveling here in the next couple of days, so be safe out there. All right. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.